I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
We, the citizens of America, are now joined in a great national effort to rebuild our country and restore its promise for all of our people. Together, we will determine the course of America and the world for many, many years to come. We are transferring power from Washington, D.C., and giving it back to you, the people.
There is good news. The unemployment rate at the lowest level since May 2001. I want to get right to CNN's chief business correspondent, Christine Roman. Some, glaring numbers here both ways.
Yeah, let's look first at that unemployment rate, 4.3%. This is a level that most economists and, frankly, business leaders consider to be full employment. This is when you have a hard time finding workers and you got to do something to get them off the sidelines, right? 4.3%, the lowest since 2001. And at a time, by the way, we thought the economy was roaring on all fronts. I'll show you where the job gains are, because I think this is pretty instructive. Manufacturing jobs down about 1,000. Not a surprise there. Mining and logging up 7,000. And we dug into this number, about 400 coal mining jobs added. That is a real focus of this president. Healthcare jobs. Look at the comparison between mining and logging and healthcare. 24,000 new jobs in healthcare. Every single month, you guys, we see strong growth from hiring in hospitals, ambulatory care facilities, a lot of growth in the healthcare sector. That's where a lot of energy has been. Overall, 80 months in a row, a record, 80 months in a row of private sector job growth.
A deadline is fast approaching for one of Mr. Trump's pet projects, the wall on the Mexican border. Bids from prospective builders are due on Wednesday, and David Begnaud is in Brownsville, Texas tonight. David?
More than 600 companies have put in bids to work on the wall. President Trump says the cost of the wall will be $12 billion. President wants, aside from it being 30 feet, the wall has to be able to prevent digging or tunneling below it for a minimum of 6 feet. A person must not be able to climb to the top of the wall or access the top of the wall from either side unassisted. The wall has got to be so tough that it would take someone an hour to break through it if they're using a sledgehammer, pickaxe, or chisel. Border crossings, people coming across illegally, are down. That's a fact. It's true.
On US10, Border Patrol agents are seeing a change in the amount of people that are crossing the U.S.-Mexico border.
This administration, again, the focus is on border security, and we're looking at those areas that now need more attention than others.
This year, agents are seeing a drop in numbers. In March, 16,600 individuals were apprehended. This is a 30% decrease from February and a 64% decrease from the same month in fiscal year 2016.
It was a swift and bold move in response to a complex Middle East crisis which has dragged on for 6 long years. A barrage of American cruise missiles directed at a Syrian airbase after an alleged chemical attack by Syria's president against his own people just 2 days earlier.
Tonight I ordered a targeted military strike on the airfield in Syria from where the chemical attack was launched. It is in this vital national security interest of the United States to prevent and deter the spread and use of deadly chemical weapons.
59 Tomahawk cruise missiles were fired from 2 U.S. warships in the eastern Mediterranean towards the Shayrat airbase in Homs province, which is around 100 kilometres from Khan Shaykhun, the scene of the alleged attack. President Trump says the Shayrat airbase was used to launch the chemical attack against Syrian civilians. This is what prompted him to act. More than 80 people were killed and many, many more battled poisonous chemicals, probably sarin gas, unleashed on their town.
We fully support it, and the Americans believe that this action is limited. It's very narrowly focused against the airfield, the aircraft and the equipment that the Americans believe were used in the gas attack, and they have exhausted all other means.
The world is starting to see what kind of foreign policy Donald Trump intends to pursue.
I woke up for some reason. I couldn't sleep. I woke up. I saw a lot of texts on my phone. I saw the news. I cried out of joy. I jumped. I thanked God. I don't know. I was overwhelmed. We've been asking for protection. We've been asking for consequences for more than 6 years. And today, for the first time, it happened. For the very first time, we see Assad held accountable just for once, held accountable for his crimes against humanity. I was overwhelmed. I felt grateful for President Trump. I felt grateful for the United States. I felt grateful for each and every person who lobbied and called and kept on talking until someone actually listened.
There are people in America, and I hear you supportive of President Trump, and so many people are, Democrats and Republicans, but there are also people over here in America who are saying, all right, so clearly President Trump is motivated by just, as we all have compassion for these just horrible images of these babies who were killed, but at the same time, this is a man who doesn't want Syrians to come into this country with this refugee ban. I want to just play some sound. Hillary Clinton weighed in.
We cannot in one breath speak of protecting Syrian babies and in the next close America's doors to them.
Quickly, Qasim, how do you see that?
With all due respect, I didn't see each and every person who was demonstrating after the travel ban. I didn't see you 3 days ago when people were gassed to death, when civilians were gassed to death. I didn't see you in 2013 when 1,400 people were gassed to death. I didn't see you raising your voice against President Obama's inaction in Syria that led us refugees, that made us refugees get kicked out of Syria. If you really care about refugees, if you really care about helping us, please help us stay in our country. We don't want to come to the United States. We want to stay in our country. We want to stay in our country. With all due respect, this is hypocrisy. If you really care, help us stay in our country. We don't want to become refugees. We want to stay in our country. Help us establish safe zones. Help us stay safe in our country. And if you just give me a few seconds just to tell President Trump once again, please, sir, what you did was amazing. What you did was a powerful message of hope for a lot of people inside and outside of Syria.
A dramatic turning point in the fight against ISIS. U.S.-backed forces in Syria this morning are celebrating the defeat of ISIS in its former stronghold of Raqqa.
Fighters from the Syrian Democratic Forces are dancing and they are chanting in the streets.
Losing Raqqa is a major blow for ISIS. The group once called the city its capital. Holly Williams is inside Raqqa with the military gains.
This place used to be an ordinary traffic circle, but then ISIS turned into a place where they carried out public executions. They posted the evidence of those horrific killings on the internet. Now, Al Naim Circle was retaken by these US-backed Syrian forces last night, and yesterday we witnessed them on the streets of Raqqa celebrating. They were in a victorious mood after a 4-month-long battle. It is a bizarre feeling to be here because during the 3+ years that ISIS was in control of Raqqa, if I had somehow made it into ISIS territory, I would almost certainly have been taken captive and very likely killed. Nearly all of the residents from Raqqa, perhaps all of them, have now left the city and many are in refugee camps.
The United States dropped the largest non-nuclear weapon the U.S. has ever used in combat. The target was ISIS.
The bomb, all 21,600 pounds of it, was aimed at the center of an ISIS cave complex in Afghanistan. When it detonated at 7:32 in the evening local time, it set off a massive pressure wave that would have literally crushed the life out of fighters hiding in the caves. The massive ordnance air blast, as it is officially called, sent a mushroom-like cloud towering into the sky. General John Nicholson, the U.S. commander in Afghanistan, said he used the bomb so Afghan troops and their American advisors wouldn't have to go in on the ground to clear out the caves. There are an estimated 600 to 800 ISIS fighters in Afghanistan, most of them located in an area right across the border from Pakistan. Pentagon officials said the strike had been in the works for months and that the bomb itself was moved into Afghanistan during the Obama administration. Authority to use it had been delegated to General Nicholson, although he notified Washington in advance.
A big win for the Trump administration as one of the world's biggest manufacturers announces plans for a plant in the Badger State.
It will be about the biggest there is anywhere.
Taiwan-based Foxconn will build a $10 billion plant, creating LCD panels and 13,000 jobs, according to Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker. Billions of dollars in state tax incentives helped make it happen.
This is a great day for America. It is a great day for Wisconsin, and it's a great day for Foxconn.
It's the kind of thing that Trump has promised, recreating American manufacturing jobs that fled decades ago. American companies found cheap labor sources elsewhere, along with higher profit margins.
This is with regard to the construction of the Keystone Pipeline, something that's been in dispute, and it's subject to a renegotiation of terms by us. We're going to renegotiate some of the terms, and if they'd like, we'll see if we can get that pipeline built. A lot of jobs, 28,000 jobs. Great construction jobs. Okay, Keystone Pipeline. This is with respect to the construction of the Dakota Access Pipeline. Dakota Access Pipeline. Again, subject to terms and conditions to be negotiated by us. Okay.
Canada's federal government, led by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, has welcomed the approval of Keystone XL. Petroleum is the country's largest export, and lower oil prices have hit the economy hard.
In both the conversations I've had with President Trump now, Keystone XL came up as a topic, and I reiterated my support for the project. I've been on the record for many years supporting it because it leads to economic growth and good jobs.
We're closely following the terrible events unfolding in Charlottesville, Virginia. We condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence on many sides. On many sides. It's been going on for a long time in our country. Not Donald Trump, not Barack Obama. This has been going on for a long, long time. It has no place in America. What is vital now is a swift restoration of law and order and the protection of innocent lives. No citizen should ever fear for their safety and security in our society, and no child should ever be afraid to go outside and play or be with their parents and have a good time. I just got off the phone with the governor of Virginia, Terry McAuliffe, and we agreed that the hate and the division must stop, and must stop right now. We have to come together as Americans with love for our nation and true affection, really, and I say this so strongly, true affection for each other. So when I watch Charlottesville, to me it's very, very sad. Above all else, we must remember this truth. No matter our color, creed, religion, or political party, we are all Americans first. We love our country. We love our God. We love our flag. We're proud of our country. We're proud of who we are. So we want to get the situation straightened out in Charlottesville, and we want to study it. And we want to see what we're doing wrong as a country where things like this can happen. My administration is restoring the sacred bonds of loyalty between this nation and its citizens. But our citizens must also restore the bonds of trust and loyalty between one another. We must love each other, respect each other, and cherish our history and our future together. So important. We have to respect each other. Ideally, we have to love each other.